conspiracy theories on a TV channel. I'm gonna pin it to this video, so you might go and watch. So one of the theories kind of related to the topic I'm going to cover now. So it spoke of so-called time tunnels, kind of loopholes in the atmosphere or something, through which people might disappear. Like they posed a question on the program, meaning every year we've got thousands of people going missing and they never get found. Where do they go? Where can they possibly go? Of course, the most obvious solution would be time tunnels. So it's a long story. If you want the full story, go and watch my video on the main channel. But tonight, I'm going to tell you about a specific story linked to, as I said, Smoky Mountains National Park, US. So, Teresa, or Trenny Lynn Gibson, disappeared on October 8th, 1976, Clingman's Dome, Great Smoky Mountains National Park, Tennessee. On October 8th, 1976, 16-year-old Teresa, known as Trenny Lynn Gibson, went with 35 or 40 of her classmates from Bearden High School of Knoxville, Tennessee, on a field trip to the Great Smoky Mountains National Park. The students were hiking around about 1.8 miles to Andrews Bold from Clingman's Dome and then back on the Forney Ridge Trail. The group separated into small groups when they arrived at the trail, depending on how fast they could walk. Despite there being such a large group, there was only one teacher supervising, in addition to the bus driver. According to some accounts, no one was informed by the school where they were going until they actually arrived or were on the way to the trailhead. Trenny hiked with several different sections of her classmates at different paces during the day. At some point after, she vanished. She was last seen at approximately 3 p.m. near Clingman's Dome, walking on a moderately steep trail with sharp drop-offs and dense undergrowth on both sides, and she was said to have left the path to the right after spotting something. She was wearing a blue blouse, a blue and white striped sweater, a borrowed brown plaid heavy jacket, blue jeans, blue Adidas shoes, and a diamond and star sapphire ring. Trenny was never seen again, and her body never found. The trail was popular with walkers, and her sudden disappearance was strange, given that she had been with other people, and there had been groups of students both in front of them and behind, as well as other hikers. Because of the weather, helicopters couldn't begin search search and rescue teams to look down onto the ground. Searchers used about a half-dozen dog teams with bloodhounds and German shepherds to look for Trenny. 3 of the tracking dogs picked up her scent at the intersection with the Appalachian Trail. They followed it by Klingman's Dome Tower, and some of the dogs last detected her scent along the roadside, about 1.5 miles from Newfound Gap. But then the dogs stopped. The scent had disappeared. Since the dogs led to a local road, this gave credence to a theory that she had been abducted. But would someone involved with foul play wait in the bushes on a steep slope, away from the trail with so many hikers around? Some accounts tell of cigarettes and a beer can found in the area near the road, whether the sniffer dog had come to a halt. A second search from April 18th to May 5th, 1977 also failed to turn up any leads. A fellow student, Robert Simpson, was said to have been implicated as Trenny's hair comb was found in his car, but police didn't consider him a serious suspect. Parents Robert and Hope Gibson alerted authorities about a past incident in which a young man had tried to break into their home. Hope Gibson shot him, and the young man later threatened to harm Trenny. Good God. Knox County deputies looked into the incident, but the lead went nowhere. One theory goes that Trenny was taken to the Klingman's Dome observation tower and held against her will, or voluntarily, whilst the area was being searched. The tower itself was not investigated at the time. Subsequently, when searchers left, she was taken to the roadside and left by car. A classmate and friend, Kim Pouncey, said in an interview in late November 2017, so some 40 years after the incident, Appalachian Unsolved, that she wonders if Trenny just took off from the park and that maybe she just wanted to leave, to get out. My feeling believe it or not. Personally, I don't, but some people do, apparently. Well, nobody knows, obviously, what really happened. I think the two realistic versions, they sound quite adequate. Like, the girl could have been abducted somehow. We must assume that. But she was never found. That's weird too. Sometimes people may get seen in other cities, just somehow get recognized, probably from some, some posters about missing people or something. But Tranny never propped up, so this leaves a bit of doubt. And where was the doctor hiding? That's also weird because it was a steep slope. And the second version about her running away, well, as I said before, it has to have some solid background of family issues. So we will never know if there were any. But I think the last thing we can do is just throw it all to the winds of the mysterious time tunnels. Anyways, the mysterious hypothesis is much more well supported by a lot of people having disappeared and in that national park. Like, there's a list. So it was Teresa Gibson, then it was Thelma Pauline Melton, Jenny Bennett, Michael Heron, Dennis Martin, Derek Joseph Luking, and Susan Clements. All disappeared in the same national park, which leaves a lot of freedom to conspirologists. But personally, I think it's all due to it being a wildlife reserve or something. So there's a lot of natural causes that might have caused this, if it makes sense. I mean, when people hike, they can get into all sorts of weird situations. Like, there was one when a couple got lost in the mountains somewhere in the US. I don't remember exactly, but they got lost in the mountains. They spent a couple of days just poking around those conspiracies